We have another speaker, Dr. Kamalkant Tripathi, the officer of Indian Economic Services, who was a director also in Ministry of HRD and also director in Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfares and also Ministry of Rural Development for a very long time, with a long span of time in understanding the nitty-gritty of cooperative, agriculture, rural development, panchayati raj, and education. So a researcher, he is a great researcher, and I would like to ask him to request him to kindly share his part of what are the challenges and opportunities which we can take into account in post-COVID scenario as far as NCCT and other CTIs are concerned at the grassroots level, whether we are prepared well, whether we are able to have the kind of taking over from the traditional method of training to digital method of training, and whether we have those readiness, which infra and manpower, professional manpower, so that the institution in the post-COVID can really take up the challenges. Now, mic to Dr. K.K. Tripathi.
Thank you, Mr. Mishra. Good morning, Honorable MOS, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, distinguished panel members, learned participants of this particular seminar, where around 230 participants are joining. I will take 10 to 12 minutes. I will cover my talk on 3 parameters. One is capacity building issues, skill present issues, challenges, and the additional issues and challenges posed by COVID-19. Am I audible?
Yeah, very well. Yeah. Yes.
And secondly, the opportunities and strength. We have weaknesses. I will pose those weaknesses, and how will we turn these weaknesses into opportunities? Because also, we will map it with our strength. And finally, the strategy. Honorable Minister of State has said that for 6 decades we have been working. This NCCT structure, when it was created, it was presumed that the intervention of this particular training units, VAMNICOM, that is National Institute, and RICM, ICM and JCTs, CTIs, those were actually would empower the cooperatives through cooperative education and training. And the basic formula was to formulate profitable plans, identify problems and select viable options, execute, monitor and evaluate various implementation of such plans which can enhance sustainable development of the client cooperatives. Coming to the existing issues till March 2020, that is pre-surface of the COVID-19, I would like to point out a few weaknesses that I actually I observed during my 2.5 years stint in VAMNICOM. NCCT has a beautiful structure with pan-India presence, 19+1 institutes across India and other junior colleges at the sub-state or sub-regional level, but it is yet to get integrated efficiently with all of its units. As I can see that all are functioning in silos. We have strength, but this is the weakness for which we are actually not moving ahead. And there is an inadequate integration of stakeholders that has diluted our actions at the field level and affected our performance. Lack of proper annual action plan, because the field units are not able to know what are actually expected out of them clearly, though we have annual action plan, but that has to be clarified, and that has to go to disseminated to all those field units. So we need some kind of visioning exercise. We have to make our visions into reality. We have to increase our efficiency with accountability, and then we have excellent faculty and commendable knowledge base on cooperation and rural development. I am amazed when I am talking to many professors and lecturers or associate professors in this NCCT structure. But at the same time, we all are aging. 56% of posts are lying vacant. Those are basically another thing is that there is lack of proper and improved HR policy, planning and promotion, and cooperative sector actually is suffering because of this HR policy, and cooperative capacity building is also suffering because of this faulty or not the proper HR policy, planning and promotion. That has actually dented our productivity. And lack of proper and adequate academic administration with expert and impartial mentoring support. But there is a scope. So quality assurance is a problem, is a big challenge, but we can manage that through a networking kind of exercise. And training module is dated because some of our learned speakers, they said about they highlighted about the courses, training modules, and the mode in which the training module is going to be imparted. And we are excessively depending on outside experts. We have expertise, but because of this lack of faculty development programs and the faculty willingness, we are actually depending upon the outside experts. But that can also be manageable. And absence of evaluation framework of training and capacity building programs. Those are whatever I have found that these are the issues, these are the weaknesses that we have right now. But COVID-19 has posed some additional issues and challenges which we have to cope up with. The first thing is the social distancing. We have classroom kind of teaching learning sessions. We were adept in that kind of environment, but right now our client trainees behavior will change, so behavioral change will occur. So we have to accustom to that particular behavior change of our client participants. There would be fear due to pandemic, may persist for a year or so. So we have to have some kind of mechanism for short term, very short term, or medium term kind of strategy. Then travel restrictions will be a limiting factor. Then technology availability of IT infrastructure, because everybody is saying that you have to have this online kind of programs, training programs, but yeah, rightly pointed out by our esteemed panelist, Mr. Srinivas, that there is a problem of availability of bandwidth. So poor internet connectivity would basically restrict us, and low IT literacy in rural areas, and lesser degree of computerization and IT operations also will pose some kind of challenge before us. Then greater focus on getting the business of cooperatives back to normal. That's primarily because the cooperative sectors are weak, except these credit cooperatives. So they will actually, the training would be kept on the back burner by the cooperatives. So taking the excuse of this particular COVID situation. So what is the issue before us? Why we are here in this web seminar? We are actually asking the question: is online or distance mode of training and education the way forward and through NCCT structure? And if yes, then how effectively could one impart online training for long-term, mid-term, and short-term and very short-term programs? And how can one go ahead with announced training programs with little customization? Which platform should be suitable for meeting the field requirements? What would be the other kind of infrastructure arrangements or requirements? And could our faculty members be capable enough for developing e-learning, standard presentations and videos, depending on the mandate given to us? Who could be assigned the responsibilities then? Did we have sufficient videos and thematic session presentations to support our quality e-learning ecosystem? If not, then how would we train our faculty members to draw effective training programs and develop short-term, medium-term, and long-term, online courses? And how would the online training and educational tools and infrastructure be prepared and get ready? Who would validate then the videos and thematic session presentation? How often these materials be standardized and got updated? There would be challenges in conducting online distance learning, depending upon our experience during those 2 months. I will say that there is a remoteness of trainees and difficulties in training delivery, short attention span of participants. Adult learning would be different than the young students, and then difficulty monitoring participants individually, and we can't see, or we can see sometimes, but we can't have any control, and how to keep them engaged throughout. And communication technological issues would be there. There are a lot of barriers to communication will come. Then speed of internet connectivity or seamless streaming is one of the factors, but there may be other factors which we should think of before actually implementing any kind of online training program. Then how to actually make effective our online teaching or training program. What I found, what I thought, that we should plan our classes or sessions beforehand. We cannot just jump into, everybody is doing web seminars, web conferences, or online kind of training programs, so that's how we'll do it. No, we have to plan our classes and sessions beforehand. We have to prepare, we have to practice and master the technology first. Because the medium we are actually changing, because we are very much adaptable towards face-to-face kind of classroom learning session, but not online learning session. So we have to practice ourselves. We have to set up an adequate working environment, both at the source and at the destination. Then innovate and stimulate discussions. Then we have to actually train, orient sensitize our own faculty members how to actually go for stimulation in the discussion kind of things in the online kind of sessions. And we have to communicate regularly, because there may some kind of laziness that may set in because of the communication barriers. And we have to motivate our trainees. If it is education, students, and if it is master trainers, TOTs, then master trainers also to be motivated throughout. And there has to be some help desk. We have to seek feedback regularly. We have to give concluding remarks before leaving the class or session. And we have to recapitulate if the session recurs the next day prior to the start of the new session. Then how to actually ensure online training effectiveness? What should be the role of the NCCT? And I thought that we should understand and collect data on the course which was useful and relevant, and if it is relevant, whether it was enjoyable, if the training was fully accommodated the pace and learning style of learners, and if learners wish to recommend the training program to other peers as well, then we will have a proxy saying that this particular training program, online training program, was successful. Then brief results analysis of post pre-test quizzes, if conducted, that can also be thought of. And the NCCT structure at the central level, they may take the help of NI, VAMNICOM also, for periodic sample survey, improved productivity and work quality kind of issues, and about the increased satisfaction, retention, and the engagement of the trainees. What are the opportunities and strengths that we have? The first thing is that we are actually working in a digital era. So we are not actually, though we are isolated, but we are not feeling that kind of isolation. So the degree of isolation has come down. So great opportunity exists to work in a team through networking. We have presence all India. So our strength is many faculty members are from IT stream in the NCCT structure, and they are disciplined. There are disciplined field units also across India. So we can manage them with a centralized structure. And all units are connected with VC equipments. So I think around 5-6 years back, NCCT had supplied VC equipments to all. So now time has now come to reap the benefits of whatever investment that we had made 6-7 years back. Then VAMNICOM has a full-fledged IT department. We have a data server, a data center, and we have all requisite technical manpower. So NCCT can take help of us. NI is actually trying to gain experience by initiating a series of webinars and training sessions. Our head IT is involved in all those kind of initiation. Productivity and profitability in change environment, that issue, that webinar is going to happen recently. Then challenges in the management of sugar, dairy cooperatives, optimizing usage of delivery channels in serving customers, reasserting business process in the post-COVID-19 period. Some are the issues and tentative issues that we are going to work on. And Dr. D.V. Deshpande, our HOC head of center of MDB, he is actually going to convene one online kind of training program for Pune DCCB branch managers during 25th and 26th May 2020. So we can actually get the experience. We can share our experience, and then accordingly NCCT can take a view. The time is now available. So we have to actually concentrate on areas where exactly we have not gone into, though these were very vital to us. So NCCT headquarters should consult with the National Institute and other institutes also and we should guide the field units to prepare, update, customize training and TOT modules. We have to utilize this time to write and publish articles, case studies, book reviews, consultancy projects, or research studies, etc. So what is the strategy? Last point, you know, for online long-term or medium-term education, we have to actually have a lot of precautions to be taken. There are differences in web seminar, webinar, web conference, and online VC. Some are one-way communication, some are two-way communication, but it's conducted in isolation. So we have to be very careful all those things while ensuring the effectiveness of this particular education or training program. So NCCT has to strengthen and professionalize its program unit and IT unit at Delhi. So we have to reassess the role of its our training units for various sectors, be it credit sector, dairy, sugar, service, housing, whatever the case may be. And we have to ensure training and teaching effectiveness. More focus should be on the quality and not the quantity, because Mr. Marathe just pointed out that for the doubling farmers' income, we have to actually venture into many areas. So we have to actually see that whether whatever teaching or training that we are imparting, it's actually of quality in nature. Then National Institute VAMNICOM agrees to be involved throughout this process, because it's a difficult time, as everybody has said, opined, because we have a great network. Irma is actually mentoring us. Professor Mishra would be there, so he would be actually pointing out, highlighting some kind of issues that I am raising right now. NIRD is there. RBI CAB is also helping us. We are also helping RBI CAB. We are actually we are now mentoring National Institute of National Insurance Academy for NB accreditation and quality in teaching in NIA. So BB Giri and NLI in Noida, they are also into some kind of collaboration with us. NIBM, then Pune University, Symbiosis University, and name anybody. So we are connected to everybody. So if there is any help that is required from NCCT side, we are there to help you. And we have to actually have region-wise sensitization webinars. It has to be held for banks, dairy, sugar cooperatives. So that's why NCCT has to take this particular time as an opportunity to keep connected with all those kind of stakeholders. Then we have to take up some kind of vision where we will see that in the post-COVID, which sectors are actually affected adversely. So recently, whatever news media says, service sector or processing cooperatives are basically affected very adversely. So what kind of approach that needs to be put into place, that has to also be thought of clearly. So training, relating to training, please don't go by whole day training. So we have to conduct half day, max 3 hours. If it is less, it's okay, because we are doing online training programs. Maybe it's a teaser kind of training program that we are going to do. And we have to actually, what Mr. Srinivas was saying, that yes, the cost for the training that we are going to charge would be actually reasonably placed, because some of the teachers, some of the training programs should be free of cost. Some would be charged but with very nominal fees. I'm not the right person to say that what should be the charge. That NCCT may take a view. And the teachers, this kind of training program may be done on Google Meet, Cisco WebEx, though they have their own problem, like we faced during the starting of this particular webinar. So then what would the purpose of this particular free of cost kind of sensitization program? So we have to understand the field requirement and interest, and we can see that whether there is any interest being generated from the cooperatives for the proposed training program. That will also actually be a proxy of our training need analysis. So we can compile the data and we can analyze that data so that we can largely cover the thematic needs for the training program. So many institutes under this NCCT, they are actually implementing MBA program or PGDM programs. So please be in touch with National Institute VAMNICOM. So we will be able to help you, because we have our own faculty strength. So you can, if you have if you have already scheduled your teaching kind of course, so please share it with us. We can also share with you our own teaching schedule, so that we can combine and we can get the mutual benefit. So this is the right time to establish contact and conduct meetings of employees and board member of cooperatives, maybe through online, because mostly some of them would be in the district headquarters. So lastly, for NCCT, my suggestion is, let us try to bring in all stakeholders in one platform. State Cooperative Union, NCY, and other the panelists just hinted at, and let us connect with all field units as frequently as possible, maybe once in 15 days till December 2020. We may meet all stakeholders once in every month online till December 2020, and at the same time we can conduct an envisioning exercise with the help of experts as soon as possible, and prepare annual action plan with quantifiable indicators. And lastly, NCCT, it is my request that please meet at least twice a year before the action plan is finalized and after 5 months of the execution of such action plan. Thank you so much, and thank you. My special thank goes to NCCT for arranging this particular webinar. Thank you.